All right. So we'll give it one more minute here before we officially get started. But the purpose of this webinar and why it's so important here before we get started is, social media is something that a lot of people, a lot of companies kind of overlook. And it really can be a huge asset to your company, not just for um, just being a place to post your projects and your project pictures and things like that, which it is for that. But it's also, you got to think about social media in terms of, why would people be coming to your page? How do they come to your page? Why would they come to your page? Well, most of them are coming because they've been to your website already or they've heard about your company. And so they want to see new content. They want to see new pictures or updates about your business or the business hours and, contact info and things like that. But most people come to um, most people come to your page in order to learn more about your about your business and see recent content. So that's really what this is going to be about here. I see that we've already got a question here in the Q&A section. So the chat, real quick, the chat is not. I don't have the chat opened, but if you have questions, feel free to dump them here um, into the Q&A section. Um, there. So yeah, all right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. If anyone's late, that's on them. So I appreciate you guys for being here. So content that converts. What does your social media need to be filled with? What types of content works the best for us, for remodelers? Okay, I am a marketer only for remodeling contractors, and so all of this whole presentation is going to be for you guys, you remodeling contractors that are here joining us. So table of contents here. Why bother? Why is it important? We kind of already touched on this a little bit, but social media is very important and it often gets overlooked. And so then we're going to look at a rule that I call the 50-50 rule when it comes to posting your content. And then number three, the third thing, we're going to look at each platform. So Facebook versus Instagram versus YouTube, you know, all of the information that you would need. It's pretty simple, but the basic info behind those different things. And then we're going to talk more specifically about the actual content. So the rule about posting, where you need to post, and then what you need to post. And then at the end, we're going to, of course, open it up for the Q&A section. So jumping right off here. So if you've come to any of my webinars before, we always got to start with the bigger picture here because in marketing, there's not just one thing that you can do to grow your online presence, to get more leads online, to do whatever you want to do online. There's not one thing you can do. You need to be doing all of it, or at least be, dabbling in each little piece here. And so when it comes to social media, the main piece that this is going to be filling is the authority building. Okay. So you've got your social media or you've got your brand authority, your brand recognition, your logo. People know who you are. They've seen you in magazines. They've heard you on the radio if you're doing that, seen you on Facebook even. And so social media, going off that, social media is going to be a huge part in building that authority and showing people essentially what authority is that you are the best option. You are the biggest, best company for their project, whatever that project is going to be. And so, so that's the piece that we're filling here, but it needs to be, you've got to have your other pieces filled as well. Your website, you link your website to your social media. You have videos on you do video production. You link your videos to your social media and you post them on your social media. And so this all works together, just like with every other webinar that we do. If this is not your first one, then you hear that all the time. So why listen to me? Why bother? So I don't think I introduced myself to those of you who might be new. My name is Brooks Burnett. I'm the owner of a digital marketing agency called Remodel Reach Marketing. And so this is, again, an agency only for remodeling contractors. And so this theory here, this rule that I created or came up with, and all of the different things that I do, I've formulated for the remodeling industry because I love the industry. And so I have about 7 years of digital marketing experience, and I'm a part of NARI Atlanta. If you're in the Atlanta area, I might see you at some of their meetings. The NKBA, the NAHB, all these associations, to go and learn about the industry. So let's get started. So why bother? Why is this important? Why is social media such a overlooked, painfully overlooked piece of your overall marketing strategy? Well, social media get eyeballs, okay? Your social media platforms, that's where your customers go. That's where they spend a lot of their time. Now, depending on the platform, obviously, and we're going to talk about this, but TikTok is a younger audience most of the time. Instagram is a younger audience. Facebook as an older audience. And so we're going to talk about how to, use each one of those platforms. And so social media, again, is where your customers are. It is a tool for you to get your information to your customers, and it's a tool for them to learn more about you, to make their decision on whether they're going to hire you for their project, for their kitchen, for their bathroom project, home addition, whatever that is. And it's a tool for them. So we have to look at it in those terms. This is a tool. They're using my social media to determine if they're going to hire me or not. So what kind of information needs to be on my social media to get them to call, or to get them to, you know, in the sea of estimates that they've got five different estimates from five different companies. What on my social media is going to make them want to call me or and go with my company versus another? And so, because people are making their decisions off of your social media, okay, based off of your social media. Say, okay, so whether they're deciding to move forward or whether they're deciding to go with someone else, your social media, your brand, your how you present yourself, that is what, some people are making their decisions based off of, right? And so, switching gears, the more social profiles you have, the more opportunity, the more tools you have for people to make their decisions with you and with your company. Okay. And so people hire people. You're going to see that very often through this presentation. People are hiring other people, to do their projects. But that's going to make sense here a little bit more in just a second. So, does it make sense for remodelers? Does social media make sense for remodelers? Absolutely. Probably more than maybe any other home service based business. When people have, for example, if someone's pipes are bursting and they've got water running and their basement is flooding, do you think someone cares about a plumber's social media, picture that they just posted on their social media when they call the first plumber that they see on Google? No. Same thing for, repair guys and, painters and people, painters, that's maybe a different story. But, most of the time, I've got a job that needs to get done. And so who's the first guy on the list? They're not necessarily looking at social media. But for remodelers, people are trusting you with their projects, with their huge, home addition or kitchen remodel or master bathroom remodel. And so there's going to be a lot more things that they consider than just, hey, when can you start? Right? So, it's just something to consider here. So let's dive in. So the 50-50 rule. What is this? What is this one in terms of social media? 50% of your posts need to be about highlighting your projects, before and afters, after photos, high quality videos, high quality photos. 50%, the other 50% need to be what I call personal business information. Okay. So 50-50. So if you're posting once a week, 1 week, posting after pictures, before, after, during, highlighting your projects because that needs to be there. The other 50 needs to be about you, about your team, about your office, about your history, your story. So it's business information that's personal to your business. Okay. So again, 50-50-50. Posting twice a week, once a week, post your after pictures. The other post that week, information about you. And we'll get to examples here in a second. But so the purpose of this is to make sure that you're posting both. And so when I say people hire people, that's where this this personal business info comes in. Okay. And so let's dive into this a little bit more. And so, so 50% of your posts need to be projects, pictures, videos, testimonials, galleries, anything showcasing your finished projects. Okay. And so that's the basic stuff. That's what everybody posts. And that's part of the reason for this 50-50 rule. The other 50% is again, your personal business info. So what does this look like? Office party photos, if they're decent, right? If y'all aren't partying too hard. So your Christmas party, your office birthday parties that you have, if you have them, walkthroughs of your jobs. This could be a little bit more there's some discretion here. But point being, you, the owner, or your project manager, whoever is recording the video, your face is in the video, showing, hey, here's this new bathroom that we just did. Here's the vanity we just added. Here are the new cabinets provided by so and so cabinets, and things like that. You are in front of the camera. DIY help videos, birthday pictures. Hey, it's Judy, our office lady's, birthday today. Happy birthday, Judy. Picture of her on social media with the cake. Client interviews, and so there's a sea of potentials here for your personal business info. But what are you doing? You're showing your customers that, hey, we're real people. Okay. This is our owner. This is our team. This is who you're going to call. This is who you're going to talk to when you call. Okay. And so, this personal business info is what can separate you from literally everyone else, every one of your competitors. Because believe me, I work with remodelers all the time, see remodelers' social media profiles all the time. No one is doing this. Okay. Or if they do, the owner might pop in here and there, do a walkthrough here and there, but no one is showing their office room. No one's showing their showroom, or very few of them are, unless it's like highlighting a project, which would then fall into, the 50-50 rule, but what we want to see, what people want to see, and what I mean by people hire people is that people want to see who's going to be doing their job, who's going to be doing their project. And so that's what this is for. Okay. You're just showcasing and saying, hey, world, hey, community that I serve, we are a real business. And when you call us, this is the team who's going to come out and do your project. And so when you do this and you combine your after pictures, your high quality quote, remember that high quality pictures, not just pictures from your iPhone, that works for landscapers, that works for, you know, for, name name your other home service. But for us, we want high quality pictures. And so your high quality pictures and then showing your community, hey, this is who did the project. This is our team. This is who we are, kind of thing. Okay? So 50-50. I hope that makes sense. And you can mix and match 60-40, 70-30, whatever you want to do, but just make sure you're posting this because no one else is doing it. And so if you do post pictures like this of your office and of your team and of the people that work for you, you're already way above 99% of the other remodelers. Go down the list of your competitors and go to their social media profiles. I guarantee none of them are posting anything like this. They're just posting after pictures, which is good, but it's not different. That's that's another point, right? That's another point of all this. We want to stand out, okay? So let's keep going. So again, I covered a lot of this. Why does it work? People want, they're hiring you, they're hiring your team, they're hiring people to do the job. And so show them, showcase your people. Okay. Your customers are trusting you with their property. So this builds trust. Okay. Just by simply getting in front of the camera and being the owner, having your face as the company, just doing that is enough to start building trust, okay? And so everyone else only posts their before and afters, okay? Or most people. Okay, so you got to stand out. So I hope this is making sense and I hope this you guys understand this and see the value in it, okay? Now, so switching gears here. So we know the 50-50 rule. We know why we do that. We know what we're going to be posting and taking pictures of now and doing interviews, you know, team videos, I mean, the list is endless about possibilities you could do. But let's talk about each platform here for just a second. So, the differences between the platforms here, you've got your Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can throw in Twitter. I mean, I wouldn't really recommend that. But if you stick to these platforms here, you're pretty much going to be covering your bases. Okay. But some things are better than others here. So Facebook is going to be your number one spot. Okay. So we all know this. Facebook is the number one platform. What's so good about Facebook though is you can post any form of content. Okay. So you can post pictures, you can post galleries, you can post you can post long videos. So if you do like a longer 5 to 10 minute interview with a customer, so like a client testimonial, you can post that on Facebook and you can chop that up into reels or TikTok videos, short form content, and you can post that on Facebook as well. So Facebook is kind of like the one-stop shop for everything. Everything that goes online needs to go to Facebook first, essentially. Okay. And main reason why we want to target Facebook and use Facebook is because the older generations use Facebook the most. Okay. Bottom line. And so, you're not going to have teenagers on TikTok hiring you to redo their master bedroom. Okay. So Facebook is going to be your best bet. And it needs to be your default. You default to Facebook, you post on Facebook, but similarly, on Instagram is connected with Facebook, and so you can get it set up to where when you post on Facebook, it just automatically posts on Instagram. But Instagram, excuse me, is a little more limiting. Okay, so you can post pictures and then you can post the short form video content. Okay, and so those longer form videos not going to be the best for Instagram. Okay, and so Instagram has like a younger millennial generation using it. And so, you might be able to get some, late 30-year old people. Instagram would be good for like DIY informational videos. Obviously posting your high quality images, walkthroughs and things like that. And same goes for TikTok. Okay. TikTok is strictly the short form video. And so, you could post pictures, but you kind of have to turn the picture into a video. You got to put like music or something on top of it. And so, I would say just stick to Facebook and Instagram. That generally gets the job done, but the more the better. If you have time and you want to post on everywhere, I kind of, or on every available platform, then, post on TikTok as well. But Facebook definitely, Instagram might as well, again, because they're connected. You can post them at the same time. And TikTok, if you feel like it, basically. Okay. And take a sip here. Now, YouTube is a little bit different of a story. YouTube, yes, it is a social media platform, but also it's an archive, right? It's where you can post all of your long form and short form videos on YouTube. And so I always recommend my clients get a YouTube account because it makes it so much easier to post on Facebook because you can just go in on a post on Facebook and put the link to your face or to your YouTube video in Facebook, and it just uploads it immediately. And then you can use it for your website as well. It's easy to post videos on your website if it's connected to YouTube, and it saves all of them. And you can have people, if you do a lot of videos and you shoot a lot of videos, you can have people go and watch your previous videos and your previous walkthroughs and testimonials and things like that on YouTube. So YouTube is kind of a must-have in my opinion. And then, you post all your longer form videos to YouTube, but then you can use them on Facebook, you can use them on Instagram, and TikTok. You can post those short form videos on TikTok. And so YouTube is a must-have. Yes, it's social media, but not really in what we're thinking about, like building a following and things like that. So yeah, Facebook is king, and make sure you've got a good optimized Facebook posting at least once a week, at the very least once a week. And so then 50/50, 1 week, post your after pictures, um, anything related to that, and then uh, we're going to get into some examples here in a second. And then the other 50, your business content. Okay. All right. So what content converts? All right. If you're following the 50/50 rule, both of these types of content, they will work off of each other. Okay. And so what does that mean? So think about going to your or a remodeler's social media page and they only have one piece. Okay. They only have, let's just say to make things different, they have only personal business content and no pictures or videos of their projects. Then you're going to be like, where's their jobs? What are they doing? Do they just have fun parties in the office all the time? You know, do they just sit around all day? So you're going to be missing a little bit or missing a piece of the puzzle. And then if you're only posting your jobs and your projects, that's good, but you look like everyone else. You look like everyone else and nothing's different. No one knows who you are. They don't know what you look like. They don't know, they don't know anything about you. And so they work together. Again, I said this earlier, but they people see your projects, they see your work, and they see the people behind it. Okay, they see the team behind it. So you're going to post pictures and info that grabs attention and ask yourself, what would you want to see? What would I want to see? What would cause me to say, hey, this business is different. This business, they know what they're doing because of the DIY videos, or, they look like they're fun to work with. I want to invite them into my home for a month. Keep that in mind. People are making those decisions. They're going to be in my house every day for a month or so. Am I going to like working with these people? Do they know what they're doing? And so both of these things help. Okay. So think outside the box when it comes to content. What are you good at? What are you, are you like for me, for example, I'm a former high school teacher. And so these things, these webinars come naturally to me. And so that's why I do them once a month. And so what are you good at? Are you good at editing videos, or is your team, do you have someone on your team that's good at editing videos? You want to make super fancy walkthrough videos and, you know, like I don't know. You just got to think about what you're good at and what your followers might want to see, what your community might want to see. Okay. So I hope this made sense here, and I know that's a little bit quicker of a of a presentation here, but it's very simple. Okay, it is very simple. You're simply just getting on a schedule of posting. You're getting on that 50/50 rule or some variation of it where if you would just post like birthdays is a good one, showcasing your team members of all, of all types, office workers, field workers, anybody, and posting of a picture with them with balloons and saying, "Hey, it's so and so's birthday today." That already, again, is much better than a company who just posts their after pictures. Okay. And so I just kind of want to make that clear that these things work. Okay. Getting in front of your customers and showing who you are works, and it works for your customers. Okay. And it helps them to make a decision. All right. So again, very simple stuff, right? It's not rocket science, but it does take a little bit of time, right? Social media, creating the posts does take a little bit of time. And so but again, thank you for watching. We're going to get started on the Q&A section. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them into the Q&A section there. This can be about